All right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Represented series Fireside Edition. I'm extremely excited to welcome our guest today, who is Chloe Moore. Chloe Moore, welcome to the Represented series Fireside Edition.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So really excited to speak with you today and learn more about your personal and professional journey into the industry. I feel like there's so much that we don't get to talk about on the other side of things. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. But first, let's have you introduce yourself and tell everyone why you're so amazing, right?
Sure. So my name is Chloe Moore. I'm the founder of Financial Staples, which is a virtual fee-only financial planning firm based in Atlanta, Georgia. I serve clients all across the country, and so I've worked primarily with tech employees in their 30s and 40s who want to make the most of their high incomes and the equity that they receive in their companies to really maximize their wealth building potential.
Awesome, awesome. And I know it's really fantastic to work with tech professionals as I kind of leap into this side of the industry and business myself, right? I feel like as entrepreneurs and we leave that kind of comfortable corporate bubble, right? We forget about all the bells and whistles that we no longer have, right? We become all of the 800 numbers, as I like to call it, which is a gift and a curse all at the same time.
Yeah.
But tell everyone how you got into this industry. Like, what made you maybe fall in love with this industry, or how did you get started?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. Financial planning and this industry as a whole was not on my radar. I didn't know it existed. So I started college as an athletic training major, an exercise science minor. So I went to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. And so basically, I was getting into my freshman year and my sophomore year. I was taking biology, anatomy, nutrition, just all these classes, kind of preparing me for a career in sports medicine. And I realized, it's kind of boring. It just wasn't really as interesting as it originally sounded. So I talked to my counselor, and she happened to be the head of the financial planning department at Alabama. So she told me a little bit about financial planning as a career. I looked into it. I realized, I love helping people. I also was really good at, kind of math and numbers and logic, figuring things out, kind of solving complex issues. So I thought it was a good fit for me. And so once I started taking the classes and getting into the industry, I realized that this is what I was meant to do.
No, that's awesome. It's so interesting too, because I feel like a lot of people that end up in the financial industry or space did not have plans to come here, right?
Yeah.
Or it was an industry that we didn't think about. And it's funny you said sports medicine. That's actually something I was interested in prior to going to college. Although I didn't stay on that path, I
Mhm.
ended up still in business, but then poli sci as a minor, and thought that was where I would kind of hang my hat as well, or in some sort of marketing lane. So it's always interesting to hear how people got into this business. So I know before you talked a bit about working with entrepreneurs and tech professionals, and how do you walk your clients through that journey, especially kind of as they're transitioning their mindset to be this entrepreneur and CEO?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I mostly work with employees
Mhm.
at this point, but I do have a lot of clients that have side hustles, or maybe they want to take advantage of their equity and incomes now to kind of prepare themselves to be a business owner down the road. And so the biggest thing there is just kind of helping them kind of get an understanding of, where are they right now? And then kind of where do they want to eventually be? Like, what do you want your life to look like, and what's most important to you? And so by just kind of digging into those things about what does the ideal future look like, that way I can kind of help them map out kind of a game plan to get to where they really want to be.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, definitely mapping out. It's like you have to map out your personal and your
Mhm.
financial life and the journey that you want. So, what do you feel like your role as someone's advisor is, and what exactly does that mean? Like, how do you kind of work with your clients specifically, and what do you feel really kind of makes you different within what you do in your practice?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is my role is to really just help people understand, what does their ideal or their rich life look like. Um, And then I kind of help them figure out how to get there. Because I think a lot of people, we all know people that just kind of walk through, the day-to-day motions of life, and they really don't take a step back to understand, what is it that's really important to me? What can I do to really live my best life? And so I think the more that I can help people, especially people who have, the income and the opportunity to create that life, the more I can help people kind of understand, what does that look like, and really dream beyond where they are right now. I think that's something that I'm super passionate about, and especially in underserved communities or systemically excluded communities, to be able to help people just dream bigger than where they are right now. So that's one of the things that I really unlock with clients is understanding that. In order to do that, we really look back at their past money history. So we'll look at their experiences with money as a child, some of the kind of money scripts or things that they grew up believing about money, and how those things kind of help them, or how those things influence the decisions that they make today. And so through all of those things and just being an accountability partner, a thinking partner, I help clients achieve their financial goals.
Nice. I think you said so many important things, right? Especially about the accountability piece of it, because that's the one thing that we all always need help with is
Yeah.
making sure that, hey, I know I want to live my best life, my best financial life. But, there's always the
Mhm.
thought and then there's the action that comes with it. And sometimes they're not
Yeah.
as equal, right? And hopefully the goal is to get them equal or to, continue to surpass that. I know you mentioned a bit about, underrepresented,
Mhm.
underestimated communities, is what I also like to say as well. What does it mean in your role to be a woman of color, Black woman in this industry? And how do you feel like that also helps to make your clients maybe feel seen and heard in a different way than they had before?
Yeah, I think it's extremely important because, a lot of times when we think about the financial services industry or a lot of industries in our country, they're dominated by people who don't look like us. And so, it's important for me to be out there as a financial planner, as a Black woman, as a business owner, because people can see themselves, in us and by what we're doing, an example that we're leading in this industry. So just giving that example and showing other people that, financial planning can be a career, not something that you just stumble on is important. And also on the client side, it's important for clients to find financial planners that look like them, that can relate to their life experiences, their stories, their things that are kind of bothering them or holding them back from achieving what they want to achieve in their lives. So I think the combination of those two things are super important. And just as a whole, working with marginalized communities, whether it's women, people of color, the LGBTQ community, but just by working with with all of these different groups, we can help each other kind of get that economic power that we need, to actually really get political power. To be honest, in our country, we need that economic power to really make change for future generations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely feel like together we
Mhm.
can really do anything. Politically, economically, it's so
Mhm.
important to be able to cultivate that trust, right? Because that's really what we're building with this, within this industry that we're talking
Mhm.
about today, when people can really see themselves reflected through faces, through
Yeah.
stories. So it's really great that you kind of embody that within your practice. And how do you go about cultivating trust? Because I know in a lot of different communities, cultures, there's still that divide with how we continue to trust, not just, people of
Yeah.
color, just, people from different gender, ethnicity, and kind of further down the line, but just in general, right? We still have a long way to go with building trust in this industry. But how do you cultivate that trust with your clients that you work with on a day-to-day basis, or those that, want to work with you?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to meet clients where they are, and try to lead as much as I can with empathy. So at the beginning of each client relationship, I really take time to understand more about their background, their personal stories, their money history, and just really kind of understand who they are, what's important to them, and And I think that helps me to really, best help my clients, kind of go past those blocks or those limiting beliefs so that they can really achieve what they want to achieve. Um, and also just, I think I explore the reason, the why, like behind, their goal. So if they say they want to accomplish certain things or they want, that certain things are important to them, I really want to understand, why are these things important to you and why do you want to accomplish these things? If you just have, kind of these kind of abstract goals that are out there and you don't really have any, why or any kind of meaning attached to them, it's a little bit harder to stay on track to reaching those goals. So helping clients understand, their history and then what's important and the why, that kind of connects those dots for them.
Yeah, looking at kind of their vision, almost like their mission statement.
Mhm. Yeah.
How do you, really kind of pull that together from a goal perspective, right? I feel like sometimes we come into a lot of these meetings and it's just like, okay, well, my goal is to retire, or it's just like to, maybe go on vacation, or I want to open up this, I don't know, next business or this bed and breakfast. But how do you get people to really even dig a little deeper, right? Because I feel like we still have kind of those surface goals that we want to
Mhm.
accomplish, but then there's the real goals. How do you kind of get people to get past the surface things and really focus on like who they actually are with their money? Or is that kind of conversations that you naturally have?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing there is just getting more specific. So, people always say, "Oh, I want to travel more," or, "I want to retire." But, you know, tell me more about the travel. Like, where do you want to go? Kind of have a vision of what you want to do. How do you want to spend your time? What places do you want to explore? And even with retirement, what does retirement actually look like to you? Is it something where you're maybe working part time? Do you want to scale back and do something that's, maybe more meaningful than what you're doing now, but maybe it pays a little bit less, or it's volunteer work? So, just how do you see yourself spending that time? So I think, again, that just helps you connect those dots and makes it more real.
Oh yeah, because travel can be different, right? Traveling to
Mhm.
like maybe down the street or maybe a state over is a lot different than traveling or doing a big trip to like Kenya or something like
Yeah.
that, right? Where maybe they're trying to spend a month or 2 months, or if they're like me
Mhm.
trying to 6 months or more.
Yeah. Yeah, those sabbaticals are very common.
Right, exactly. I'm trying to
Yeah.
do that. I want to take a couple more sabbaticals.
Mhm.
So, how do you help your clients really elevate to that level financially? Like, what are the things that you have them sort of put in place that really make sense for them? I know you work with a lot more employees, corporate executives. So, how
Mhm.
does that kind of differentiate maybe in the way they look at things, right? Coming from that sector.
Yeah, I think the first thing that we try to do is just automate things or make things as easy and actionable as possible. So, what are kind of some of the quick wins and easy things that we can do to really, help get you to the next level? And so the first thing would be, just automating your savings. Thinking about how much do we really need to save or invest on a regular basis to reach your goals? How can we just, make sure that money gets set aside immediately after you're paid, or kind of set goals and guidelines for when you receive lump sums of money, whether it's a bonus or, some kind of windfall or equity compensation, and just kind of having some kind of rules in place so that it's just not a big shock when you receive that money and you just kind of, spend it or waste it away. And we're really being disciplined about that process. So those are kind of, just quick and easy things. Also just making sure that, we're getting to a point where, you're kind of comfortable with your lifestyle, and where you are right now, and making sure that you're able to, really enjoy life today, but also prepare responsibly for tomorrow. So as you get increases, whether it's, increases in salaries, promotions, if you're building a business, as your business grows, how can we make sure that you continue to, maintain the same, standard of living, maybe elevate it a little bit, but, just kind of use that extra money that's coming in that you weren't used to having before. How can we use that to help you achieve your goals a lot quicker? So, just kind of different things like that, incorporating side hustles or just, making sure that clients are getting paid what they're worth, because income plays a big role in building wealth. So just, little things like that can help you elevate your financial situation.
Oh yeah, especially the last part you said about getting people to get paid what they're worth, right? I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of times, especially as women, right, we don't necessarily always ask, or we're afraid to ask for those high salaries when we
Mhm.
are, more than educated and experienced to be able to have that, right? But it's always that fear of, well, they're probably going to reject it because of XYZ reason, and maybe it's because I'm a mom and they feel like I'm not going to be able to spend enough time here, and whatever reasons we sometimes think about as women, right? But working with clients, what do you feel like are the biggest things that hold them back, especially even working with women? How do you help them to empower themselves to ask for what they're worth, and ensuring that, hey, be reminded when you go into this conversation, these are the goals that we discussed, this is what you should be asking for. How do you kind of champion people to do that?
Yeah, I think the first thing is just really the mindset, and staying stuck. A lot of us, might not have grown up with a lot of money, and so when you do get to the point where you have a lot of money, you can kind of stay in that kind of poverty mindset and just really, not treat your money responsibly, or not think about the future. And so, just kind of understanding, okay, this is a great opportunity that I have, here to really change the trajectory of my future. I can still enjoy myself today, but I also need to make sure that I'm, doing things that my future self will thank me for. So just, if clients are kind of feeling like they're stuck and being in the same place, that's really a bad place to be. If you look back a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, it's not a great thing to be kind of stuck in that same place that you are today. So just, helping clients really get beyond, where they are, and making progress over time is extremely important. And the way that we do that is just discipline and habits. There's really no hack other than consistency. So as long as you start to realize what habits, that it takes to create wealth, to create, the eventual financial freedom that you want. As much as you can stick to those habits and stay disciplined and keep that consistency, that's how you really achieve those goals.
Oh yeah, sticking to very specific mindset shifts, in
Mhm.
addition to the financial shifts that you want to have as well, right? There's no, there's no like greater joy than being able to do all the things that you want. I mean, I've definitely been in positions where it's just like, oh my God, I hate coming in here every day, and that's
Mhm.
a terrible position to be in. And a lot of people, feel that they're in that position, maybe even now, especially as we're looking at everything that's going on economically. I'm in Jersey, and they were literally just saying, I think we have hit the high. I think Jersey is the highest for gas now, over $5. So shout out to Jersey for doing that. Not an excitement.
Oh, well, Atlanta, I just saw like 2 or 3 articles over the weekend. Atlanta's officially unaffordable. So,
Mm. Which is crazy to think about. I mean, here
yeah.
you had all these people who were moving from like the areas like the tri-state, New York, New Jersey,
Mhm.
Connecticut, to the South, right? And now a lot of places in the South are becoming, yeah, to your point, unaffordable. How do you kind of talk to your clients about what's going on now? Because I know a lot of people, like, there's just so much going on in general, but especially when we're talking about the economic surpluses and how to really create efficiencies, and maybe even scaling back, some of the goals that you probably had 2 3 years ago, or even a year ago, to being able to live and afford now. I remember seeing something recently where they were talking about even people in high net worth positions are somewhat now living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm.
um, but what are your kind of overall thoughts around that, and how are you kind of cultivating those conversations with your clients?
Yeah, so there's kind of 2 groups. So there's, people I've been working with for several years. I've been kind of warning people, leading up to this. Basically, we're in a very great position with the economy. I think the stock market's great. Everything's kind of going up right now, but a lot of my clients didn't experience the last Great Recession, and or if they did, they kind of forgot about it. And so I definitely told people, we need to prepare, make sure that when things aren't so great, that you're in a good position. So it's just really those tried and true, things, focusing on things that you can control. Because we can't really control what happens with the economy or with the stock market or the housing market, or inflation, but we can control, our habits and our discipline. So just making sure that people have enough cash on hand, to cover emergencies or cover short-term goals that they might have, or big purchases that they have coming up, or if they anticipate like a job loss or a layoff or something like that, that they can cover those expenses until they find something else. And then also, just making sure that we manage and pay off debt as much as possible, and keep that at a manageable level, and not, kind of over leverage yourself and get yourself in a bad position. Um, and just, continuing to stay consistent with all of your savings, all of your investments. It is super important.
Oh yeah, consistency
Mhm.
is really
Yeah.
the word, I think, for today, and definitely for this conversation, is really about making sure that you're sticking with what you're doing. Do you ever find it challenging when you're talking to clients and it is that consistency challenge? Do you think that kind of holds people back from kind of getting to that next point?
Absolutely. I think, a lot of times, even when we make progress, clients will, like, we'll get to a point where, we have a goal that we set, and then we reach the goal, and then maybe they want to do something and it completely derails everything that we've worked so hard to achieve. But yeah, just having a relationship with a financial planner, or even some other accountability partner. It could be, friends or family, or just someone that you trust, and who has your best interest in mind, to really help you kind of stay on track, and come back to, why am I doing this, and why is this important, and how am I going to benefit in the future from the actions that I take today.
Awesome. And before we hop off, I'll have
Mhm.
two last questions. One's more of a surprise question. Um, always fun. But what are the like three very quick things? I feel like you kind of dropped a lot of gems today, but if you had to think
Yeah.
of like two or three things that people can either do, doesn't necessarily have to be specifically financial related, around around their overall mindset for
Mhm.
change. But what are some things that you think are the top things to do in this moment?
Yeah, I probably sound like a broken record, but I feel like these are super important. The first thing is just understanding where you are today. A lot of people, when I start working with clients, the first thing that we do is, we pull together like your net worth statement. How many things do you own? What kind of accounts do you have? Investment accounts, savings accounts, assets. How much money do you owe? Whether it's student loans, mortgages, car loans. It could be credit cards, just other debts that you have. So just understanding, what does your entire situation look like right now? Where are you today? So, just taking the time to understand that and pull it all together is important, because that can help you just gain some clarity about, kind of what you need to work on. Um, the second thing is just, really get clarity on what your ideal life looks like, and kind of where you want to go. And a lot of times, I think people, they don't realize how much they're being influenced by other people. So it could be social media, it could be friends and family. It could even be, advertising. There's a lot of clever advertising and marketing, whether it's on television or social media, that, kind of influences what we feel is valuable or what we think is important. And so just, kind of taking a step back from that and understanding, okay, when I really dig deep into who I am and what's important to me, and what my rich life looks like, kind of understanding that, really helps you to get a game plan about, kind of where you want to go. And so the third thing is just pulling those two pieces together. When you understand, where you are right now, what your world looks like, and then understand, what your ideal life looks like and what you want the future to be, then you really develop a plan. So, you probably all heard the saying, a goal without a plan is a wish. So the more that you actually, write down a plan, create a plan for yourself, create those actionable steps that you need to take in order to reach those goals and reach those milestones along the way. That's where you really achieve success.
Absolutely. And I'm loving this, like my rich life.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't embed that into our brains enough. And I think consistency is key, right? Although you feel like you've said it over and over again, I think that that repetitive nature kind of speak volumes to how you work with your clients and your overall business as well, right? Helping people to truly be consistent and live out their best dreams and their goals in their lives and really feel like, hey, what's important to me is, what's important to me is also, important to you, and ensuring that they have that. So back to our fun question. Um, uh, so I think this one is a little bit more of a passion question, but what brings you joy at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think what brings me joy is really just helping others to understand, what brings them joy and helping them achieve that. So, for me, I've personally all these things that I suggest for clients to do. I've personally taken a lot of time to understand what does my rich life look like, and what do I want to achieve, and how do I want to, or what actions do I need to take to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, so that I can be a better person for others. And so, just kind of helping clients understand that, and really helping them achieve their goals, seeing them just reach certain milestones, seeing them kind of seeing their dreams come to a reality. I had clients that take vacations or take sabbaticals, and they come back and tell me, I couldn't have done this without your help. And or maybe if they even have an unfortunate situation where they lose a job or get laid off, they're not worried because they know they have enough money to last them for a very long time, and they can kind of take the time to figure out what's the next chapter of my life look like, or how can I make changes to get to the next level, and use the setback to come back even better. So all of those things really bring me joy.
Awesome, awesome. Well, those are all very amazing things, and thank you for sharing that. And thank you for coming on the Represented Series Fireside Edition. I'm sure we'll have you back again. Please tell everyone where they can find you and how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. So you can find me. My website is financialstaples.com. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter at FinStaples, Instagram at Financial Staples, and you can find me on LinkedIn as well, Chloe Moore.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you again, Chloe, for hopping on into the Fireside Edition. And everyone, please stay tuned for the next episode of our Represented series, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.